Manchester City play as well this evening. They head to Brentford tonight, 6th in the league. 12 points off the top. It's been a shocking season by their standards. The City boss has admitted he should have brought some new faces in last summer.
Was it in the summertime? The club thought about to do it, and I said no. I don't want to make any signs. I rely on the team, and I wanna stay with them. Just Sabio came, Gundo back. I wasn't expected at the end, but came back. But just Sabio came, and I said because I rely a lot with these guys, and I thought still I can. Do it again with that guys and do it. But after the injuries maybe we should have done it, but you never know in that position. But I think the team is really good and the squad is really, really good. I had that feeling. Central defense exceptional, the fullbacks are exceptional, and all the players that we had. Otherwise we cannot achieve what we achieved recent year, not in the, I would say 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, last season. But it's where it is.
It's pretty hard to imagine, isn't it, how a manager of his huge experience and huge success should have been so negligent as not to build on the position they were in, because City, top of the world to all intents and purposes, would have been able to attract any player you like.
Correct. There's an element of, look, to a certain degree, a smaller degree, he's been unlucky, right? A small degree he's been unlucky. I think he's had injuries to key players, and I think one of the massive things is there has been a dramatic drop in form in 5 or 6 or even 7 of his players.
You might have anticipated that looking at their age, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm only saying these are they're small things that have happened. You're right, that there has been a negligence there, because as you and I have spoken about before, Jeff, when is the one time that you strengthen? And that's when you're doing well. That's when you're on top. When you're on top and you want to stay on top, you strengthen. You make it even more difficult for your opponents to challenge you. They haven't done that, and they're really... I genuinely can't remember a decline like it at any level from any top team in any sport. I mean, they've rallied to a certain degree a little bit, of course they have, but what was it? Was it one winning night? It was ridiculous for a team that had been where they were, and there are a number of reasons for it, but I take your point. I think they have, and Pep has taken his eye off the ball, probably thinking that they were in a comfort zone, which we've just found out that they weren't.
Yeah, and they've rallied to a degree, but let's be brutally honest, they were a bit fortunate at Leicester.
Yeah.
Then they beat West Ham, who had 17 attempts on goal, and since then they've beaten Salford. If we talked about a rebuild, and the size of that rebuild, it's pretty much every department, isn't it? Need extra defenders. They certainly need a midfield rebuild.
Absolutely.
And over-reliant on Haaland.
Of course they are. 100%. I mean, we looked at we don't have the stats in front of me, but I read them out yesterday. I think they must have had 8 or 9 players. They certainly had half a dozen well into their 30s, well into their 30s, and about another 4 or 5 on 29. I know Jack Grealish is 29, but 3 or 4 on 29. So to not visibly see that creeping up on you, I don't think that could happen, because it's your job as a coach and as a manager. You look at your squad, you analyse your squad all the time. You look at ages, you look at positions, you look at everything you look. So I don't think it's come as a surprise to Pep, right? It can't have come as a surprise, but the decline has come as a major shock to him. So, I mean, they are where they are at this moment in time. Even one of the lads messaged in there talking about, when they play a good team, when it was somebody mentioned talking about Forest, when they play a good team they get found out, and City beat Forest 3-0. But I don't buy that at all, because I remember that game, and I remember Forest, Chris Wood in particular, having a right few chances. So the decline in City, as I say, I know they've rallied a little bit to a certain degree, but the decline, the thing that surprised me is that the size, the magnitude of the decline in all areas, Because sometimes your forwards won't fire, okay, your midfield won't create, okay, your defence will maybe have a couple of slack moments. But for that period, it was everything, Jeff.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
And they're having to cope with this expanded Champions League as well. And, you know, when I look at them now, they're only a couple of points outside of the top 4 at the moment. They've got Brentford away and then Ipswich away. And with all due respect, City of old, you'd have expected them to take 6 points from those games.
I'm not sure.
Maybe, of old...
Even of old, because I remember Brentford beat them home and away the same season.
Yeah. Well, you know,
but I do take your point, right? Absolutely. I'm maybe nitpicking a little bit.
But after that, if we're looking at their Champions League hopes, after that in the league, okay, their following games,
PSG,
they got PSG.
I'm going
in the Champions League. Yeah, but after that, domestically, they've got Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, Newcastle at home, Liverpool at home, Tottenham away, Nottingham Forest away, and Brighton at home. Goodness gracious, what a run that is.
Oh, it's an incredible run. And you're spot on. Last year, or any season out of last, however it may be, City and their fans would have been saying, fantastic, bring it on. Now they'll be looking at it with a little bit, I don't care what MD says, they'll be looking at it with a little bit of self-doubt. That's players and fans. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to... What an important game that is. I mean, they're all important. But Paris, the importance of that game can't be understated.
You know, we've talked about City and not bringing players in. Things might be a heck of a lot more difficult for them to bring players in during the course of the summer if they don't make the Champions League.
Correct.
And with people looking at Pep and thinking, actually, how long is Pep going to stay for? So that window of opportunity of signing some of the best players in the world might well have disappeared.
I think you make a very, very valid... That's a valid point, of course it is. I mean, it's the same thing to a certain degree with Manchester United just now. Manchester United, history would tell you, one of the biggest clubs in the world, have, in years gone by, I would say, a greater pool for top players than most of the clubs in the country. That has not disappeared, but it is diminishing because they're not playing Champions League football. Because it makes common sense. The best players in the world want to play in the best tournament in the world, and the best club tournament in the world, by some stretch of imagination, of distance, is the Champions League. And City aren't in that bracket with Manchester United at this moment in time. But your point is a valid one. If they don't make the top 4, then you'd have to question, will they have the same pool? Will they have the same pool if Guardiola's not there? Probably not.
And going to Brentford, they might be going there at the worst possible time. You know, Brentford losing out to Plymouth at the weekend. They've got a point or 3 to prove, haven't they? I think they left out in Bloomer and they left out in Vista.
And that's a game. I'm telling you right now, that is a game.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.